for today's video, I will discuss to you the line integral. First, we must know what is line integral. Line integral, or sometimes called a path integral, it is the integral of some function along a curve. One can integrate a scalar valued function along a curve, obtaining, for example, the mass of a wire from its density. One can also integrate a certain type of vectored valued functions along a curve. So, after I've discussed to you the meaning of the line integral, now let's proceed to the sample problems. First, we have the field vector is equal to the z squared, x squared, and the y squared. It will passes through the r sub t is equal to 1 plus 3t, t, and 2t with a limit of 0 to 1. Now, let's solve the problem. First, integrate the f dr multiplied to dt is equal to the integration of 0 to 1 f of rt times the r prime of t dt. Then it is equal to integral of 0 to 1 z squared, y squared, x squared. The integral of 0 to 1 is equal to the z times the t squared, y t squared, x t squared. Multiply it all to x prime t, y prime t, and then z prime t dt, and then distribute each of the values. The integral of 0 to 1, z is 2 squared, so it will be 4t squared, times y is equal to 1, so it is t. Then x is equal to 1 plus 3t, 1 plus 3t quantity squared, multiply all by 3, 1, and then 2 dt. Then it is equal to integral of 0 to 1, 4 times 3 is 12t squared, then t squared times 1 is plus t squared, then 1 plus 3t quantity squared times 2 is equal to 2 times 1 plus 3t quantity squared dt. Then it is equal to the integral of 0 to 1, combine the common terms, so it is 13t squared plus 2, then expand the plus 12t plus 18t squared dt. It is equal to the integral of 0 to 1, 13t squared plus 18t squared is 31t squared plus 2 plus 12t dt, integrate. So it will become 31t cubed all over 3 plus 6t squared plus 2t from 0 to 1. Then it will become 31 times 1 cubed all over 3 plus 6 times 1 squared plus 2 times 1. It is equal to 31 over 3 plus 6 plus 2. So the final answer is 55/3. For our next sample problem, we have the vector field of x, y, and z is equal to z in the I direction minus the y in the j direction minus the x in the k direction. It will passes through the RT is equal to 5 in the I direction minus sine t in the j direction minus the cosine t in the k direction with a limit of 0 to pi over 4. So we have dr over dt is equal to negative cosine t in the j direction plus sine t in the k direction. Then the formula is a to b with the vector field x sub t, y t, z t, multiply it to dr dt times dt. So we have the integration of 0 to pi over 4 times the negative cosine t in the I direction plus sine t in the j direction minus 5k direction times the negative cosine t in the j direction plus sine t in the k direction times dt. Then multiply the 2. Because there's no I here, just eliminate this part. So the integration of 0 to pi over 4 is equal negative sine times negative cosine is negative sine t cosine t minus the negative 5 times the positive sine t. So it is negative 5 sine t dt. Then integrate it. So we will integrate first this part, then integrate also this part. So u is equal to sine t, then du over dt is equal to cosine t. Then dt is equal to 1 over cosine t du. And then the integration of 0 to pi over 4 is negative u cosine t times the dt, which is 1 over cosine t du. Then it is equal to cancel the cosine t and then integrate it. So we have negative 1/2 u squared from 0 to pi over 4. It is equal to negative 1/2 u squared is equal to sine, so it is sine squared t from 0 to pi over 4, then negative 1/2 of sine squared times pi over 4 minus 0. So the final answer is negative 1/2 times the square root of 2 over 2 squared, and the answer is negative 1/4. So now let's proceed to the right side. We have negative 5 times negative cosine of t from 0 to pi over 4 is equal to 5 cosine of t from 0 to pi over 4. So it is also equals to 5 times cosine of pi over 4 minus cosine of 0. Then 5 times square root of 2 over 2 minus 1 So we have 5 square root of 2 over 2 minus 5. So the answer, you will just combine this and this. So the answer is negative 1/4 plus 5 square root of 2 over 2 minus 5. Then multiply the 2 to 4 over 4. So that you will have the fraction answer. 5 square root of 2 over 2 minus negative 21, minus 21 over 4. So this is the final answer.